It's not uncommon for pro wrestlers to end up dating. The nature of pro wrestling, particularly WWE, means that wrestlers are spending most of their days together, and over time bonds are going to be formed, and this includes bonds that lead to an eventual romance. Throughout the years, numerous wrestlers have got together, but their relationship has come to a dramatic end after one party in the relationship cheated on the other. Join us now as we look at 10 WWE wrestling couples who cheated on their partner. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. Number 10. Enzo Amore and Liv Morgan. In 2017, Liv Morgan lit social media on fire when she revealed in a tweet that Enzo Amore had been cheating on her with another woman. Amore already had a rotten reputation in WWE, and this certainly didn't do the former Cruiserweight champion any favors. In a tweet, Morgan stated, "Me knowing that I'm single and nobody cheated on me." Fans and fellow WWE talent were quick to comfort Morgan, and Morgan would eventually get the last laugh as she went on to become one of the top female stars in WWE, whilst Enzo would be released from his WWE contract in 2018. Number 9. Chris Candido and Sunny. Chris Candido and Sunny began to date when Sunny was just 17 years old. According to Sunny, during a shoot interview, she was initially planning on becoming a doctor, but with Candido wanting to become a pro wrestler, this drastically changed her career trajectory. Sunny added, "We met in high school, the last month of our senior year in high school. It was June 2nd, 1990, and I was going to be a doctor, and he said I was going to be a wrestler, and I was like, okay, great, how is my life going to end up? So it all happened from there. We fell in love." Unfortunately, it's believed that Sunny was unfaithful towards Candido, and it's rumored that Sunny was romantically linked with legendary wrestler Shawn Michaels during the time that herself and Candido were married. Outside of HBK, it's been rumored for decades that Sunny was also linked with other stars such as Bret Hart and even ECW star Raven. Number 8. CM Punk and Lita. Before CM Punk found the love of his life in AJ Lee, he was dating WWE legend Lita. However, according to rumors, there was a crossover period between Punk and Lita breaking up and Punk dating AJ Lee. Popular Reddit user Mets Fans Forever, a notable verified WWE insider, claimed Punk was courting AJ while still dating Lita. Lita would be off somewhere else in the building and Punk would be talking to AJ. I thought it was kind of odd at the time. I think a lot went on when Lita would be sitting by herself and he was chatting with AJ. A lot went down at the arena. What is weird about this particular romance is that AJ idolized Lita growing up, and years later they would be involved in a bizarre love triangle that nobody saw coming. Number 7. Jerry the King Lawler and the Cat. It was evident during the Attitude Era that Jerry the King Lawler was besotted by the Cat. So much so that Lawler walked out of WWE in 2001 when the Cat was fired out of sheer support for his then wife. It then surfaced that the Cat had cheated on Lawler with someone from WWE Developmental, and the marriage quickly disintegrated. Whilst hurt from the affair, Lawler was able to mend his relationship with WWE, and by the end of 2001, Lawler was back alongside Jim Ross, calling the in-ring action. Number 6. John Morrison and Melina. Various rumors have circulated surrounding why John Morrison and Melina broke up, but it is believed that Melina began to date top star Batista while still dating Morrison. The issue was that Batista was one of the WWE's biggest stars, which ultimately made him untouchable, meaning that even though what he did was morally wrong, he would go unpunished. According to several reports, Vince McMahon completely gave up on Morrison ever being a big star in WWE due to his lack of action upon finding out about Melina's infidelity. According to Batista, during a 2007 interview with the Charleston Post-Courier, Morrison and Melina had already broken up when he began to date Melina. "He knew everything from day one, from the day we started talking," explains Batista. "That was one of the things that a lot of people didn't realize and didn't bother to ask. Melina and John weren't together anymore. He was always aware of what was going on and she was very honest with him. They split up and moved apart, and we started dating each other. She still considers him her best friend in the world, but he always knew exactly what was going on." Now, the validity of Batista's claims are up for discussion, and it's up to the likes of Melina and Morrison to verify his bold statement. Number 5. Kevin Sullivan and Woman. The old expression "life imitates art" came true in 1997 during a storyline between Kevin Sullivan and Chris Benoit. In the storyline which was taking place in WCW, Nancy, also known as Woman, would leave Sullivan in favor of Benoit. Sullivan and Nancy were legitimately married in real life, but Nancy ended up falling in love with Benoit and ultimately decided to leave Sullivan in favor of starting a romantic relationship with Benoit. Nancy and Benoit would later marry in late 2000, and Sullivan and Benoit had a less than stellar relationship backstage. In a sign of true professionalism, Sullivan never let his dislike for Benoit show in his behavior towards him, and according to Benoit, Sullivan never took liberties with him in the ring, which highlighted what kind of a person he truly was. Sullivan would even book Benoit to win the WCW World title in a move that nobody saw coming. While some believe this was done to show that Sullivan could be unbiased as a booker in WCW, he justified his booking decision by stating that Benoit was simply the right person to win the gold. Number 4. Kenny Dykstra and Mickie James. During the Ruthless Aggression era, it was common knowledge that Kenny Dykstra and Mickie James were dating. However, this relationship ended up in complete disaster as Mickie began to have a romance with WWE's top guy, John Cena. WWE were never going to punish Cena for this, so it unfortunately fell on Dykstra, who was moved brands in order to be away from Cena and Mickie, and then he was eventually released. Dykstra held a ton of resentment towards Cena for many years, and most fans believed that this was completely justified. Thankfully, Dykstra's story ended up having a happy ending, as for the past few years he's been working as a producer for WWE in a role which he's received rave reviews for. Number 3. Vince McMahon and Linda McMahon. Stories related to Vince McMahon cheating on Linda McMahon began to surface in 2001, as during an interview with Playboy magazine, McMahon outright declared that he had cheated on his wife, but Linda was fully aware of his conduct. Not necessarily faithful. I probably lied to myself, thinking she knew who I was when we got married, the wild guy, but I never ever threw anything in her face. I was discreet, and Linda never suffered from a lack of attention, physical or emotional, but one day she asked me point blank, "Are you having an affair with so-and-so?" and I've never lied to her. It was clear from this point onwards that the two were having an unusual and less than traditional relationship. This was furthered when in 2022 it surfaced that McMahon had paid numerous women a large amount of money to keep a lid on affairs between them. This completely annihilated McMahon's reputation and even led to him taking a leave of absence from the corporate side of WWE's management. Following these horrific stories circulating online, it was reported that Vince McMahon and Linda McMahon had been separated for some time, which was previously kept strictly under wraps. Number 2. Triple H and Chyna. Between 1996 to 2000, Triple H and Chyna were inseparable, and it looked like the two were going to spend the rest of their lives together. However, when Triple H entered into a storyline with Stephanie McMahon, the two bonded extremely quickly, and both the Game and McMahon fell in love, leading to Triple H leaving Chyna in favor of McMahon. During an interview with Howard Stern in 2002, the Game stated that whilst Chyna saw it as Triple H cheating on her, the Game didn't see it that way, as the relationship was naturally coming to an end during that time. There's a misconception of the way that things ended with us, but it was our relationship that had gone downhill. There's a period of time where we separated and things happen in between, and then you kind of part way, get back together, and it really wasn't a full-blown relationship at that time. And number 1, Matt Hardy and Lita. When it surfaced that Lita had cheated on Matt Hardy in 2005, it became the talk of the wrestling world. However, when it then surfaced that Lita had cheated on Hardy with fellow WWE star and Hardy's close friend Edge, it changed everything. This story dominated the wrestling media and even hit mainstream news, as it was all anyone could talk about. Lita and Edge began their affair whilst Hardy was on the injured list, resting at home, which certainly adds insult to injury. When Hardy discovered Lita's infidelity, he blew up and took to the internet to air his grievances. WWE hastily decided to release Hardy, stating that his behaviour was unprofessional. This naturally enraged the fanbase, who were furious that WWE were punishing Hardy instead of Lita and Edge. Eventually, WWE brought Hardy back, and in an insane twist, they would incorporate their real-life affair into a storyline as Hardy began to feud with Edge and Lita. This became the biggest storyline in WWE, and while some were critical of the storyline and believed it to be insensitive, it made sound business sense as fans wanted to see Hardy extract his revenge. So there you have it, folks, 10 WWE wrestling couples that cheated on their partner. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.